Well, welcome guys, and welcome to the bonus video for The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. Alright, so this is the Nintendo Gallery, Palace of Figurines. You need to hit a switch around here, up there. You need to use a Hyoi Pear to control a Seagull to hit it, and that's how you can reach this place, and then gliding over to it. So the way this place works is you need the deluxe pictograph box so that you can take color pictographs of pretty much everything in the game. NPCs, enemies, bosses, whatever you can think of. Then you bring the pictures here to this guy here and give him a day and he'll make you a figurine of that picture. Yeah, look over there. The bunny hood, the all-night mask, the Goron mask, the Keaton mask. Some submarines, the goddess statues up there. Cool stuff. Anyway, I've already got the full Nintendo Gallery completed, so I'll just show you all the figurines. Alright, so this are characters from Forest Haven. Makar. Personality frivolous. Makar is in charge of the musical performance at the ceremony held each year by the Koroks. The instrument he uses appears to be a cello, but it's actually a violin. Fado. His personality somewhat saucy. Long ago, the Kokiri sage Fado offered up his prayers in the Wind Temple so that the Master Sword would continue to house the power to repel evil. I see. Deku Tree, birthplace to Forest Haven. The Deku Tree is both an earth spirit and the guardian of the forest. He has lived for many long years, so his wisdom is vast. However, since his roots run deep into the earth, he cannot move. As a result, he is often afflicted by parasitic enemies. Elma, one of the Korok spirits. After the animal ceremony in the Forest Haven, Elma flies off to a distant part of the world to sow tree seeds and raise new patches of forest. He's responsible for the forest on an island 5 squares west and 1 square north of the Forest Haven. It's pretty much going to say the same thing for all of these guys, isn't it? That's Hollow. Even after the Korok ceremony, Hollow remains in the Forest Haven researching potion making. He'll make a potion that promises both life and magic power for you if you bring him Boko Baba seeds. Onjala Manchala Chowe. Olivia? That's Urch. Yeah, it basically just gives hints on where all the Koroks are if you didn't already know where they are. Roan. Drona. Linder. Aldo. And Oaken. Carlov the Sculptor. Occupation, Nintendo Gallery Master. With unmatched talent, he is the world's greatest sculptor. It's said the reason he won't let anyone watch him sculpt is because he does so in his underwear. Okay. Lately, his club has been losing membership because he hasn't done anything cool with it. But as long as Link hangs around, everything will be alright. Manny. Favorite thing, figurines. He used to always sit at home and rarely go outside, but his passion for the Nintendo Gallery kept him moving, and he finally earned membership in it. Good for him. Okay, so these are people from Dragon Roost. Kogoli. He always seems to be worrying about the state of the island, but no one has ever seen him working to improve it. Pashley. For reasons unknown, Pashley's always busy. Sket and Akut, the chieftain's guards. Sket and Akut are said to be the number 1 and number 2 Ritos when it comes to talent and strength, which is why they are the chieftain's guards. The reason they get along so well is because they're childhood friends. Their style of speech can be considered somewhat antiquated. Kaboli, mail sorter. Kaboli is the 3rd generation in a family of postmen, but rumor has it that an ancestor of his in an age gone by was also a postman. Alright. Baito. Personality earnest. Baito is very earnest when it comes to mastering a job. He often misses his mother and gets homesick, which can be hard on him. He wants to be like Link. Hosket. His biggest worry is getting a present for his girlfriend. He looks quite easygoing, but he's always thinking of his girlfriend. He values his friends tremendously. Quill. Dutiful and passionate. Quill has courage, if nothing else. He is admired by his fellow Rito, and the chieftain places great trust in him. Quill's cool. Valoo, the Sky Spirit. Valoo has lived on Dragon Roost Island and protected the Rito since long, long ago. He has a habit of speaking only Hylian, which only his attendant, Medley, grasps. Zephos and Cyclos, sibling deities who control the wind. Zephos and Cyclos are 2 light-hearted deities who teach Link the Wind's Requiem and the Ballad of Gales. Ilari? Or, I don't know. Windfall Island Postman. He's quite kind and as long as he's composed, but when things don't go well, he quickly grows impatient and can get rough with his speech. He apparently has a hard time remembering faces. Namali Worrisome. Namali doesn't really have any distinct characteristics per se. Okay. Bashed and Bisht, Island Police. Being extremely honest and sincere Ritos, they were chosen to be the island's police force. When you talk to them, they speak frankly about events on the island. Obli. Hobby dressing up. Obli has such an unhealthy obsession with the Ritos that he's begun dressing as a Rito and running the famed Birdman contest. He's the older of the laudable brothers who host the contest. Okay, so he's not actually a Rito, he's just obsessed with them. You weirdo. Willie. Willie used to be a very average carpenter on Windfall. He so longed to soar the skies that he began dressing as a Rito. He's the younger of the laudable pair of siblings. Okay, right, brothers. Medley. Serious and sincere. Medley is Valoo's attendant, and as such puts incredible effort into everything she does. Even so, there are times when she seems to be spinning her wheels. Her greatest treasure is the harp that she carries on her back. Kamali. Mama's boy. Kamali had very little confidence in himself and thus closed himself off from the world outside his tribe's area. With just a little help from Link, though, he has regained his confidence and has at last begun to show signs of being a confident and mature Rito adult. Laruto. Long ago, the Sora sage Laruto offered up her prayers in the Earth Temple so that the Master Sword would continue to house the power to repel evil. So some of these figures you can't actually get a picture of because they're cutscene only. This is one of those. To get some of these pictures, you actually have to visit Lenzo on certain nights. It depends on which cycle the moon is on. I think there's 8 cycles total, and for when you visit him during each moon phase, if you pay him a certain amount of rupees, he'll give you a special pictograph picture. And that's how you get the figurines of the people or enemies that you can't normally take a picture of. The Rito Chieftain, head of the Rito tribe. The chieftain is a very gifted leader who is adored by his people. Due to his position, he must be strict with his relations, but as with any father, he worries about his son. Of course. Right, so that's the Dragon Roost room. Alright, so these are mostly monsters that you'll find in dungeons and stuff. Floor Master. Surprisingly lonely. These creatures use their long hands to grab their victims, which they then yank into another room. They occasionally grab nearby vases and throw them. And bombs, too, apparently, if you throw them at them. Magtail. Weakness, water. These creatures are covered in a hard exoskeleton that not even the searing heat of lava can penetrate. Their eyes are their only weakness. Magtails can be picked up and carried around where they've rolled into a defensive position. Keese and Fire Keese. Least favorite thing, projectiles. These bats fly around dark places and attack anything that moves. Great care should be taken around Fire Keese that appears during times of volcanic activity. Bokoblin. Spoils joy pendants. These little imps wield sharp machetes and boko sticks when attacking. If they have no weapon, they'll attempt to fight hand to hand. Red and blue bubbles. Stronger form, blue bubble. The cursed blue flames of the blue bubbles steal the power away from all of your attacks. Bubbles can be easily blown away by the Deku Leaf. You can also bring them over with the hook shot. Get over here! Rat. Rat. Favorite food, bait. These creatures attack spontaneously and attempt to steal rupees. The ones that carry bombs around are apparently known as bomb chews. Oh, I forgot they're actually called bomb chews. Boko Baba. Spoils Boko Baba seeds. These creatures that mimic Baba buds attempt to swallow anything that comes near. Defeat them by stunning them with a jump attack and then cutting their stems. Or, you know, just throw your boomerang at it. Mini Blin. Talent herd movements. These little beasts are quick and agile. They scurry along walls and gather in great numbers. You should deal with them individually so that they won't surround you. Choo-Choo. Spoils Chew Jelly. There are choo-choos of many different colors, all with their own distinct characteristics. In general, they are most susceptible to projectile weapons. Peahat. Talent rotating. These strange creatures use their propeller-like wings to float in midair. They can be easily knocked out of the sky with either projectiles or a Deku Leaf. Gaiorg. Weakness projectiles. These so-called ocean-killing machines are plentiful in the Great Sea. You should attack them with arrows or boomerangs before they begin relentlessly ramming your boat. They're just annoying. Octorok. Series Exemplary Enemy. I think these were originally called, winner of Best Attendance Award, because up to, like, the GameCube version of Wind Waker, they were in every single Zelda game, so they got the Best Attendance Award. When approached, these creatures tend to hide in the water. They can easily be defeated by reflecting the rocks they shoot with a sword or shield. Sea Hat. These tremendous flying fish can be found only on the Great Sea. A large school of them will ram ships incessantly, trying to break them, so it's best to attack from a distance. Kargarok. Spoils Golden Feathers. These fierce and dangerous opponents carry bokoblins and moblins into battle. You can use your grappling hook to steal their golden feathers. Armos. Vulnerability arrows. These small statues shift into autopilot and attack prey. Shooting them in the eyes with an arrow to silence them, and then destroy them by hacking their crystal backs. Armos Knight. Vulnerability bombs. These auto-homing statues were created to deter intruders. To destroy them, you must toss bombs into their gaping mouths. Morph. Least favorite thing, Deku Leaves. These creatures attack in groups and cling to the bodies of their prey. A spin attack is the best way to shake them off. They're light and vulnerable to Deku Leaf blasts. Poe. Best attack, Possession. These ghostly creatures have no physical form, so physical attacks pass right through them. Shining light on them with the mirror shield makes them take form. Ugh, Redeads. Least favorite thing, Mirror Shield. These undead creatures live only in the darkest depths of the earth. Their icy cold gaze paralyzes their victims with fear. Try to attack them from behind. Okay, so this is enemies related to the Forsaken Fortress. Or like Ganon's Legion. Ganon's main force, attack force, basically. Dark Nut spoils Knight's Crest. These mighty knights are protected by heavy-duty armor. Rather than attacking from the front, it might be best to slip around behind them and cut their armor off. Dark Nut Knight's Crests. These knights are well protected by their round bucklers and mighty armor. If you use a parry attack to jump up and knock off their helmets, it'll spell their doom. Actually, no, let's just go down the line. And Dark Nut, Mighty Dark Nut. These are Dark Nut captains. Some wear capes that must be burned or cut off before their armor straps can be cut. Stelphos. Weakness, its head. These skeleton warriors attack by violently swinging their gigantic maces around. Even if they're shattered to pieces, they'll reform unless their heads are destroyed. Puppet Ganon. Effective weapon, light arrows. This is a gigantic marionette created by Ganon himself. It transforms into 3 different shapes, but all are vulnerable to rays of light. Rather than shooting randomly at it, try to deduce when it can easily be targeted and then take advantage of your chance. Mulgara, Protector of the Seal. Effective weapon, hookshot. This evil guardian burrows deep into the sand. Use the hookshot to draw its tender tongue, then slash at it with your blade. Kaldemos. Favorite thing, Makar. This plant monster is a gigantic parasite that lives in the depths of the Forbidden Woods. Only by cutting loose all of its disgusting tentacles with the boomerang will its tender core be revealed. I like how it even has Makar up in there. It's a nice little detail. Goma. Weak, effective weapon, grappling hook. This gigantic shelled insect inhabits areas of lava and magma. The only way to penetrate its hard bio-armor would be to drop an entire sheet of bedrock on it. Well, lucky for us, there was. Big Octo. Effective weapons, projectiles. There are said to be 6 of these legendary giant squid in different reaches of the Great Sea. When ships pass by, they create tremendous currents to try to sink them. The only way to escape is to shoot all of their weak spots, their eyes, with projectiles before being sucked in. Mothula. Effective weapons, Deku Leaf, projectiles. This gigantic moth scatters its scales through the air. Even using projectiles to clip its wings won't assure safety. It can still run around swiftly and release larvae. While the flying ones you can instantly kill with ice arrows, which is a very, very, very nice. Wizrobe. Magic summons. These high-level mages use the magic of summoning to aid them in battle. They're the only Wizrobe that can summon other Wizrobes, which makes them formidable. Alright, Wizrobe. Fire and summons. These mighty mages are adept at wielding flame and summoning other creatures to their aid. The only way to defeat them is try to predict their movements and attack them during the brief moments that they assume physical form. Kinda look like toucans in this game. Godan, the Great Arbiter. Effective weapon, arrows. This monstrous machine was created by the gods as a trial for the great hero. You can drop it to the ground only by piercing its hands and face with arrows. Once it's fallen, you can defeat it by immediately tossing a bomb inside. Oddly enough, arrows occasionally drop from its nostrils. Classic Nintendo hands boss. Moblin. Spoils skull necklaces. These mighty enemies swing their long spears with the greatest of ease. They've knocked Link around with that attack countless times. Hey! Watch it. Phantom Ganon. Effective weapons, light arrows, and the Master Sword. This is a phantom that Ganondorf created in his own likeness. Use your sword to knock back the balls of magic that he hurls, and then attack him when he's stunned. Actually, you can also use empty bottles to deflect his magic attacks. Yeah, you could do that in Ocarina of Time as well. Jalhala, Protector of the Seal. Underlings, pose. This gigantic ghost rules over all pose. After reflecting light onto it with the mirror shield, you can lift it up and then throw it around. The monstrous Helmerach King, Master Ganondorf. The Helmerach King is a monstrous bird that has been fitted with a mighty steel mask. Once the mask has been split with a hammer, its tender beak will be revealed. And there he is, the big guy himself, Ganondorf. Ganondorf. Effective weapons, light arrows, and Master Sword. The possessor of the Triforce of Power, Ganondorf controls many fell beasts. It's useless for Link to try to face him alone. He must look for an ally who can aid him in battle. So we got 3 more rooms to do. This looks like Outset Island. Yep, this is for characters around Outset. Crab. Talent, crab walking. These creatures are crabs, plain and simple. Okay. Mesa. Personality, slacker. Mesa performs his chores at very much his own pace. His vegetable patch is always full of weeds, and he spends most of the year trying to clear it out. He's surprisingly timid and often can't fall asleep at night. He's currently looking for a wife. Jaboon, water spirit. Jaboon can only speak Hylian, so hardly anyone understands a word he says. Orca, talent, swordplay. In his younger days, Orca had hoped to be a swordsman, but he suffered a serious injury that ended that dream. He soon returned to Outset and became a fisherman. On a ledge on one wall of his house is a memento from his days of training with a blade. Orca is a lifelong bachelor. Sturgeon. His personality extremely serious. Known as Outset's living encyclopedia, Sturgeon is quite wise, boasting an abnormally high IQ. He has extremely sensitive nerves, quite the opposite of his younger brother, Orca, who lives downstairs. Surprisingly, Sturgeon was an accomplished swordsman in his youth. Oh man, where'd you go to work out? The library. Subel. Personality serious. Subel was born and raised on Windfall, but she became concerned for the health of her grandfather, Sturgeon, so she decided to move to live with him on Outset. Morning, noon, and night, she fills vases with water and carries them on her head from the well to their house. Strangely enough, she actually enjoys the task. Huh, so she's related to these two. Seagull. Talent, flying. Seagulls soar freely over the Great Sea. They love Hyoi Pears above all other foods, and eating them simply steals their hearts. In more ways than one. Errol. Personality, kind and true to her family. Link's energetic younger sister is adored by all who meet her. Her current goal is to learn how to fetch water so she can help out her grandmother. Her most treasured belonging is a telescope bearing a drawing of a seagull. Link's grandma. Personality, worrywart. This kind old woman works hard to raise her two grandchildren. She's a very talented cook. Her special elixir soup is sure to raise anyone's spirits. She could also be somewhat mischievous and enjoys playing the occasional prank on Link. Like the invisible clothes? Wild pig. Talent, digging holes. Wild pigs are found primarily in the fields of Outset Island. They love bait above all other foods, and when they eat it, they can't help but tear into the earth. You could be a big pig too. Huh! Rose. Favorite thing, animals. The mother of Joel and Zill, Rose is a woman of refreshingly simple tastes, but she's a demanding mother. She has the bad habit of trying to laugh her way out of lies. I see. Abe. Greatest treasure, his family. Abe is a family man who takes good care of his wife and 2 kids. In his younger days, his dashing good looks and baritone voice made him quite the ladies' man. Then one day he was instantly smitten by a woman named Rose. Even though he was consistently rebuffed, he persisted and finally convinced Rose to marry him. Like the backstory you got there, dude. Joel. Main interest, sticks. Joel's dream is to grow up as soon as he can so he can jump across boulders just like Link. Both he and his younger brother Zill distinctly resemble their father. Nice. I like how they even had to carve his big snot bubble. Zill. Talent Sniffling. Zill is a hyper-inquisitive young boy who speaks his thoughts as soon as they come to mind. He can often strike a nerve without realizing it. He likes to imitate his older brother Joel, and strangely enough, it seems that he actually lets his nose run on purpose. Ew. Gross. Alright, so this is the people of Windfall Island. There's gonna be a lot here. Oh yeah. Minenko? Favorite thing, Pictographs. This former beauty became famous after being dubbed Miss Windfall Island about 40 years ago. There isn't a younger woman who could take away that title away. She is quite obsessed with herself. Missy. Her son, Dampa the Sailor. Related to Dampe at all? She's just an ordinary elderly woman. Okay. Garrickson. Personality, passionate. He's constantly thinking of someone on a faraway island. He's apparently a very passionate man, and he has a very hip sense of fashion. Oh yes. Very, very hip. My mind can't even comprehend it. Anton. Favorite activity, kickboxing. The reason his second favorite hobby is taking walks is because he keeps his legs in shape. He's had his eye on a certain young lady lately. Creeb. Least favorite proverb, only smoke and fools love high places. Alright. This young guy's trademark is his yellow hat. He seems to have an unusual interest in the town's Ferris wheel and lighthouse. Pompey and Vera. Hobby, gossiping. Pompey and Vera are the town's most talkative pair of ladies, and they are always spreading idle gossip. Lately, they've been obsessed with Lenzo. They sure have. The shop guru, Zunari. Birthplace, a cold island. Pet phrase, dear me. Even on the hottest day of summer, Zunari can be found in his shop wearing the beloved hood that his mother made for him. He keeps a great treasure in his safe there. On a side note, he turns 40 this year and is now recruiting for a wife. Alright. Tot. Talent, dancing. This young fellow dreams of becoming a professional dancer. He dances before a strange stone monument day and night. This smooth dancer may still be practicing, but he's also recruiting for a partner. Pictographer Lenzo. Personality, hard to grasp. Lenzo is a famed pictographer known to all. His mysterious personality is quite popular with the ladies in town. He looks like he could care less. Windfall's gang of boys, the Killer Bees. Main objective, raising trouble. The small gang of 4 calls itself the Killer Bees. Starting from the left, the members are the leader, Ivan, a very talented and reliable leader. Leave all the tree climbing to him. Jin the Fox, Ivan's quick-witted advisor. His wry insults can be hard to take. Jan the Blue Hair, uses his innocent eyes to avert trouble. He's the Killer Bee's thug. And the pig-nosed June Roberto, secretly aims to be the next gang leader. He was raised in a bourgeois family and has developed into a terrible little tyrant. Or bourgeois? I don't know. When these 4 are together, they fear absolutely nothing. The joyful teacher, Mrs. Marie. This year's lucky number, 20. This year marks the 20th year this splendid individual has worked as Windfall's school teacher. Her hobby is collecting joy pendants. Her goal in life is to raise unique and creative students. The most unique thing she's ever created is her own hairstyle. Yeah, I'd say that's right. Patova and Joanna, the little tipsters. These 2 girls are talented at hitting on island rumors, seemingly without any tips or advice from others. Children can be really frightening sometimes. Yeah, ain't that the truth. Maggie's father. Personality, not particularly good. Surprisingly, Maggie's father is quite confident that he's the epitome of fashion. It would probably be more accurate to say that the clothes he wears are distinct. He seems to especially like vintage clothes and jewelry. Maggie. Favorite things, love and romance. Maggie was dirt poor before being kidnapped and held captive in the Forsaken Fortress. She's quite popular with all boys, but she prefers wild boys over all others. Lately, she has taken to writing poems and will soon be publishing one titled A Woman's Heart is Blue. Okay. Milla. Personality harsh. This poor girl was filthy rich until she got rescued from her prison in the Forsaken Fortress. Now that her family has fallen on hard times, she works for the shop on Windfall Island to help ease their hardship. Milla's father. Favorite thing? Money. His hobby was once collecting expensive vases, but unfortunately they were the kind of vase one wants to break as soon as one catches sight of them. Those who did and were forced to compensate him for his loss were said to regret it afterward. Yeah, well, you're dirt poor now, dude. Gummy the Sailor. Favorite spice? Pepper. No one knows where he gets his spending money from, but this nifty sailor spends night after night unwinding at the auction. Kane the Sailor. Favorite occupation? Artist. Long ago, Kane longed to be an artist or a sculptor, but circumstances in his home life forced him to become a sailor. He's still critical of all artistic expression, though. Dampa. Favorite animal? Pigs. Dampa recently got some pet pigs, and now they're all he can think about. He really confirms the old adage about pets and their owners. Yeah, I'd say so. Candy the Sailor. Good at cooking? Crepes. At first glance, Candy looks a little intimidating, but he's actually extremely kind and quite knowledgeable. He's always happy to share his knowledge, too. He's energetic and sort of a scamp for a 17-year-old. This dude is 17?! What? Could have fooled me. Linda. Best friend Sue Bell. Lately, her childhood friend, the delicate Camo, has become smitten with her, but she's apparently completely oblivious to his feelings. Sam. Favorite spot? The sea view bench. He thinks that a little composure is of the utmost importance in life. Sam's a card-carrying member of the Joyous Volunteer Association. Gillian. Workplace, the cafe bar. Gillian manages the cafe in place of her now ill father. It seems she once had a boyfriend, but that info is top secret. Alright. Gossick. Personality, not brave. There isn't much to say about Gossick. They're very abrupt when they have nothing to say about them. Bomb Master Cannon. Mood shifts violently. Cannon is the world's only maker of bombs. He considers himself a magician with gunpowder and other explosives. His hairstyle is as unique as his talent. Yeah. I guess it seems to fluctuate. The Potion Master Doc Bandom. Favorite food? Chew jelly. Doc Bandom spends his days researching choo-choos in his potion shop. He visits Pauperin Island now and then to collect the chew jelly he uses to make his potions. He considers himself a potion artist, and like an artist, he's quite whimsical. Camo. Years with no girlfriend, 18. Ever the romantic, Camo loves to gaze at the night sky. Him and his dear friend Linda were once classmates at Mrs. Marie's school. Okay, just one more room to go. And this is people that you'd find on the Great Sea, or enemies. No, mostly just people at the Great Sea. My bad. Fairy. First impression, good. Fairies are the most reliable of creatures. When their master's life energy has been depleted, they immediately come to his or her aid. They can be carried in bottles. Great Fairy. Birthplace Angular Isles, talent powering up. The 7 great fairies who are destined to aid the great hero by increasing his powers are hiding in 7 different reaches of the Great Sea. the Queen of Fairies. Talent, empowering arrows with fire and ice. She appears to be but a child, but she is much greater and more powerful than the Great Fairies. She will grant Link the power to add fire and ice to his arrows. Traveling merchants. Birthplace unknown, favorite food rocks. They're definitely not Gorons. Definitely not. These businessmen are traveling the world in search of curios and oddities, each with the hope of someday opening their own shop. Nobody knows where these wandering merchants have come from or where they're headed. Old Man Ho-Ho. Favorite thing, telescopes. Old Man Ho-Ho found his first telescope after retiring from his job and has been traveling in search of new sights ever since. A new discovery always awaits at the far end of his telescope. Mako. Least favorite thing, having his glasses touched by strangers. Mako is called the brains of the ship and the king of invention. He may look like a weakling, but his glasses give him keen eyesight, and he's unstoppable when mad. Not many know this, but he keeps a knife hidden in that thick book of his. Oh. Interesting. Secret knife. Oh, his little belt buckle also has glasses. Nico. Least favorite thing, Gonzo's underwear. Ew. Nico is the bottom rung of the pirate ladder, so he's responsible for all the odd jobs on the ship. He's quite childish and rarely thinks of the consequences of his actions. Even so, he shows signs of having what it takes to move up the pirate ladder. Oh, Nico. Zuko. Talent, spying. Zuko is in charge of keeping watch. His sharp eyes can read signs a mile off, but no one really understands what he says, so they rarely know what he's seeing. Nudge. Personality, who knows? Talent, sewing. Nudge seems to understand Tetra best of all the pirates and often counsels her in her decision-making. He's actually stronger than Gonzo. Senza. Personality, mild-mannered. Talent, talking, maybe? Senza's in charge of keeping the pirate ship in order. He's a mild-mannered speaker, but his persuasive skills are said to be unmatched. Gonzo. Personality, short-tempered. Favorite thing, Miss Tetra. Of course. Leader of Tetra's family of pirates, Gonzo seems to be quite strong, but he cries at the drop of a hat. Tetra. Tetra seems bossy and strong-willed, but she's actually quite kind. Orphaned at a young age, Tetra followed in her mother's footsteps, becoming a pirate and watching after her mother's gang of lovable swabbies. Tetra and her crew are in search of a legendary treasure hidden beneath the waves of the Great Sea. Actually, no, let's keep going. Fishman. Birthplace, the Great Sea. Personality, honorable, dutiful, and surly. Apparently these fish were aided long ago by the King of Red Lions, which is why they're now willing to offer Link valuable information. Unfortunately, much of their information is off the mark. For many long years they have suffered from stiff necks, but none of them know how to cure it. King of Hyrule. The King of Hyrule was unable to protect his kingdom from evil and left its fate up to the gods. The King of Red Lions is merely his disguise. His full name is one that is truly fit for royalty. Daphnis Nohansen Hyrule. He's certainly imposing. Salvage Corp. Birthplace, Angular Isles. Talent, searching for sunken treasure. These young men found friendship through their common interest in searching for sunken treasure. Soon afterward, they formed the Salvage Corps. With their first haul of treasure, all they could afford to buy was their diving suits. Now they dream of finding that one huge haul that makes them all rich. They are currently searching for the legendary treasure sunken beneath the sea. Salvatore. Talent, drawing pictures. Long ago, Salvatore hoped to be a famous painter, but that dream didn't last long. He eventually returned to his hometown and came up with his current business plan. It's been a huge success, allowing him to purchase his own island, where he has opened up the second store in which he hopes will become a huge chain. He's now busy trying to think up that one idea that will spark his next big endeavor. Quite the businessman. Loot the sailor. His only fear, the mermen. Loot spends his days working far from home at the boarding course. He takes his earnings straight to the cafe bar in Windfall to enjoy a relaxing beverage. Oh, beetle. Favorite thing, bugs, especially beetles. A businessman by nature, Beetle's sales pitch is unmatched. He hopes to open a chain of trading posts where people can buy, sell, or trade anything. There's Tingle. Favorite thing, fairies and deciphering maps. It's been several years since Tingle first became enchanted with deciphering maps in the hopes it would help him find fairies, and he's lost many things during that time. He's raising funds to begin his search for fairies, hoping to embark sometime in his 30s, while the lust of life is still upon him. At the age of 35, the pressure's on. Ankle. Favorite proverb? One may as well hang for a stolen sheep as for a stolen lamb. Oh, right? Since being taught how to decipher maps by his older brother Tingle, Ankle has been supporting his good-for-nothing twin brother Knuckle. The only time he feels he can truly be himself is when he's tending to the Tingle Island flower garden. David Jr. Occupation treasure hunter. 17-year-old David Jr. set out to sea with dreams of finding the treasure of the ghost ship that his now-deceased father once saw. He gets seasick quite easily and was in just such a state when he awoke in a daze on Tingle Island. Ankle told him self comes before wealth, and he's been working in the tower ever since. He really, really hates the uniform. So yeah, this guy actually has nothing to do with Tingle. He just kind of happens to look like Tingle and his brothers. Right, Knuckle. Occupation carver. Knuckle is another of Tingle's younger brothers. He happens to be Ankle's twin. He finished carving Tingle Tower when he was 10 years old. The head is his studio. Supposedly, it used to bother him that this collection was considered complete, even without his figurine. So, in order to get him to appear, I forget how exactly you do it, but you have to go back to older dungeons, pretty much every dungeon in the game, and you have to find secret hidden Tingle statues. Each one you find pops up at, on Tingle Island after you do. So yeah, you have to go to Dragon Roost Cavern, Forbidden Woods, Tower of the Gods, the Earth Temple, and the Wind Temple, and find these statues. And then once you find all 5 of them, that's when Knuckle appears, and you can finally take his picture. I think you had to use the Tingle Turner, whatever, from the original GameCube version in order to do his quest in the GameCube game. I never bothered with that, though. Princess Zelda. Princess Zelda is the legitimate heir to the Hyrulean royal family. She's actually the pirate Tetra. Didn't have much to say there. And finally, Link and the King of Red Lions. Favorite hand left. The hero of wind, Link uses the Wind Waker to control the wind and sail the seas on his mysterious boat, which is actually the King of Hyrule. Surprisingly, he seems to have an unnatural interest in figurines and has at last completed his collection. He is now the master of the Nintendo Gallery. I like that little bit of dialogue there. He seems to have an unnatural interest in figurines. So you only get this figurine if you get every other figurine in the game, including Knuckle. But yeah, doing that means you are the official master of the Nintendo Gallery. And that's when the dude actually leaves here. I guess there's nothing else to check in here. Alright guys, so that is the bonus video for the Wind Waker. So I am now officially done with The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. I hope you guys enjoyed the game, and I'll see you next game. Goodbye.